Have you ever found yourself wondering, why is she ignoring me? You're putting in the effort, trying to connect, and yet it feels like you're invisible. Frustrating, right? But what if I told you that the key to making her miss you, to reigniting that spark, lies in some of the oldest wisdom in human history? Today, we're diving deep into the Stoic strategies from none other than Marcus Aurelius that can completely change the way you handle this situation. Stick around, because this isn't just another how-to video. It's a guide rooted in ancient wisdom that could shift not only your love life, but your entire approach to relationships. And if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and give this video a like. You don't want to miss out on these life-changing insights. Let me take you back to a time over 1,800 years ago, to the Roman Empire. Marcus Aurelius, a Roman emperor, was not only a leader of armies, but also a philosopher. He faced challenges far greater than many of us can imagine: wars, betrayals, and the pressures of leadership. But he handled them with poise, discipline, and a calm mind. You might wonder, what does an emperor from ancient Rome know about love and relationships? Surprisingly, a lot. The Stoics, like Marcus, were masters of emotional intelligence, and their philosophies can be applied to nearly every aspect of life, including navigating the complexities of modern relationships. If you've ever been ghosted, ignored, or felt like the person you're interested in has lost interest, Marcus Aurelius' teachings might hold the answers you need. So let's break down 10 key suggestions from Marcus Aurelius that will help you shift your mindset and make her miss you immediately. 1. Control what you can, let go of the rest. Alright, let's dive deeper into the first principle: control what you can and let go of the rest. Now, I want you to take a moment and think about your own love life. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you're constantly wondering why she's not texting you back? Maybe you sent that perfect message, and you're sitting there, phone in hand, waiting, hoping to see those 3 little dots pop up, but nothing. It's frustrating, isn't it? You might feel anxious, worried, or even a little hurt. And the more you check your phone, the more you start spiraling, wondering, what did I do wrong? Is she losing interest? Should I text her again? You're trapped in this cycle of doubt and overthinking. But here's the thing, this is where we often go wrong. Marcus Aurelius, one of the wisest men to ever live, gave us a piece of advice that can change everything. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. Let's pause there for a second. When you think about it, you can't control if or when she replies. You can't control her emotions, her actions, or even her interest in you. But what can you control? Take a deep breath. You can control you. You can control how you feel, how you react, and how you manage your emotions. This is where your real power lies. You see, trying to control someone else, whether it's by texting more, over-explaining, or even overthinking, only creates more anxiety. It pushes her further away because it sends the message that you're not in control of yourself. Think about it. When was the last time someone's behavior got to you, and you spent hours, maybe even days, overanalyzing? Did that make the situation better, or did it just drain your energy? Chances are it didn't help at all. In fact, it probably made you feel worse. Now imagine flipping the script. Imagine if, instead of obsessing over why she's not texting back, you simply let go of that need for control. You shift your focus away from her and back onto yourself. You focus on what you can control: your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions. What happens when you do this? You create space. Space for her to miss you, to wonder why you're not chasing her anymore. People are naturally drawn to those who are confident and composed. And trust me, when you let go of that need for control, she notices. She start thinking, why isn't he as available as he used to be? Did something change? But more importantly, you will feel different. You'll feel stronger, more grounded, and more in control of your own life. That's the magic of Stoicism. It's not about manipulating others. It's about mastering yourself. Take a moment and think about a time when you let go of trying to control someone else whether in a relationship or any part of life. How did that feel? It was probably freeing, wasn't it? That's because when you let go of what you can't control, you reclaim your peace of mind. And peace of mind is attractive. Remember, she's not ignoring you because of anything you've done wrong. People have their own lives, their own emotions, and their own reasons for behaving the way they do. Your job isn't to figure her out, it's to focus on the only person you can control, yourself. So, instead of checking your phone every 5 minutes, waiting for her response, why not shift that energy towards something productive? Work on your goals, your passions, your own growth. When you do that, you naturally become the type of person who doesn't need constant validation from someone else. You become the person she wants to chase after. By controlling what you can yourself, you become irresistible. And the best part? This isn't just about making her miss you. It's about creating a stronger, more confident version of yourself. And that is something no one can take away from you. And while we're here, have you ever tried letting go of control in a past relationship? Did it work? Drop your experiences in the comments. I'd love to hear your stories. 2. Practice patience. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like time slows down when you're waiting for someone you care about? Maybe you sent her a heartfelt message or you had an amazing date, and now you're waiting for her response. But each minute feels like an hour, right? It's like the clock just stops and you're left wondering if she ever reply. I get it, we've all been there. But here's the key lesson that Marcus Aurelius taught us: patience. Patience is tough, especially when you're emotionally invested. Marcus said, "No great thing is created suddenly." Any more than a bunch of grapes or a fig. If you tell me that you desire a fig, I answer that there must be time. What he's saying here is that everything valuable takes time to grow and develop. Relationships, love, attraction, these things can't be rushed. When you're feeling impatient, constantly checking your phone, wondering if she's lost interest, it creates this anxious energy. And believe it or not, she can sense that. That pressure of needing a quick response or immediate attention can actually push someone away. Patience, on the other hand, sends the message that you're confident, secure, and in control. Think about it this way. Have you ever been drawn to someone who was constantly checking in on you, waiting for your every move? Probably not, right? It can feel overwhelming. But when someone is calm, confident, and patient, it's attractive. It shows that they respect your space, and in turn, you feel more drawn to them. So here's what you need to do when you find yourself waiting for her to text you back or wondering where things are going. Take a step back. Remind yourself that patience is a sign of strength, not weakness. Give her space to come to you. Just like a fig needs time to ripen, relationships need time to grow naturally. And I want you to reflect on this. Has there ever been a time when you rushed something in a relationship, only to realize later that if you had just been patient, things might have turned out differently? Think about that for a moment, and remember, the best things come to those who wait. 3. Value yourself first. Here's a powerful question for you. How much do you truly value yourself in a relationship? Be honest. When you're with someone, do you focus more on making sure they're happy? Or do you keep your own value at the forefront? This is something many of us struggle with, especially when emotions are involved. But here's where Marcus Aurelius gives us some profound wisdom. He said, "How much time he gains who does not look to see what his neighbor says or does or thinks, but only at what he does himself to make it just and holy." What Marcus is getting at here is the idea of self-respect. Too often, we get caught up in trying to please the other person, whether it's constantly texting them, always being available, or bending over backward to make them happy. But here's the truth. When you forget to value yourself first, you lose. Let me share a little story. Picture this. There's a guy who's completely head over heels for this girl. He's doing everything right, or so he thinks. He's always there for her, always agreeing with whatever she says, always making sure her needs come before his own. But what happens? She starts to lose interest. Why? Because he's not valuing himself. When you place someone else on a pedestal and forget your own worth, it creates an imbalance. She might start to feel like you're too available, too eager, or even too easy to please. People are naturally drawn to those who have a strong sense of self-worth. So, the next time you find yourself in a situation where you're bending over backward for someone, stop. Ask yourself, am I valuing myself? Because the truth is, if you don't value yourself, why should she? It's about balance. Yes, you want to be kind, caring, and attentive, but not at the expense of your own self-worth. Remember this, when you value yourself, others will naturally start to value you more. So, take a moment and reflect. Have you ever put someone's happiness above your own to the point where you started losing yourself? How did that turn out? 4. Live according to nature, including your own. Let me ask you something. Have you ever tried to force a relationship? You know, when things aren't flowing naturally, but you're pushing and pushing, hoping it will work out? How did that feel? Probably exhausting, right? That's because, deep down, we all know that real connections have to grow naturally. And this is exactly what Marcus Aurelius taught: live according to nature. Marcus said, "The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it." Life and love flow in cycles. Just like the seasons, relationships go through phases. There are moments of closeness, moments of distance, and moments of growth. When we try to control or rush these natural cycles, we only create resistance. Think about a river. When you go with the flow of the river, it's smooth, peaceful, and easy. But when you try to swim against the current, it's exhausting and you get nowhere fast. The same applies to relationships. If she's pulling away, instead of trying to force her to come back, let her be. Give her space. Trust in the natural flow of things. And here's something interesting. When you live in alignment with your natural self, people notice. You stop trying to be someone you're not, and you start embracing who you truly are. That's when real connections happen, because you're no longer pretending, and you're no longer forcing anything. Now, take a moment and think, has there ever been a time when you tried to force a relationship to work, only to realize later that it wasn't meant to be? How did that feel? Probably frustrating. But when you let go and trust that what's meant to happen will happen, you free yourself from that frustration. So let go of control and let things flow naturally. 5. Embrace silence. Here's a question for you. How comfortable are you with silence? I don't mean the awkward kind of silence. I mean the kind where you're at peace, even when nothing is happening. Silence can be powerful, especially in relationships. But a lot of us feel the need to fill every silence with action, whether it's sending another text, calling, or trying to fix things. Marcus Aurelius would tell us that sometimes silence is the best strategy. Marcus said, "It is in your power to return to life. Look at things again as you did before, and life is in your power again." What does that mean for us? It means that when she's ignoring you or when things feel distant, sometimes the best move is to do nothing. Sit with the silence, embrace it, and more importantly, be okay with it. Here's why this works. When you can sit comfortably in silence, it shows that you're confident and in control of yourself. You're not needy, you're not chasing after her, and you're certainly not desperate for attention. And trust me, she will notice. She start to wonder why you're so calm, so composed, and so mysterious. That curiosity will draw her back in. Think about it. Have you ever been in a situation where someone's silence made you more interested in them? It's a natural human reaction. We're intrigued by what we can't immediately figure out. So, the next time you feel the urge to send that extra message or make that phone call, stop. Embrace the silence and let it work in your favor. 6. Control your desires. Let's talk about desire for a second. Desire can be a powerful thing. When you really like someone, it's easy to let that desire take over. You find yourself thinking about her all the time, maybe even obsessing over when she texts you back or when you'll see her next. But Marcus Aurelius, the great Stoic philosopher, would remind us that controlling our desires is key to living a balanced, peaceful life. Marcus said, "Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself and your way of thinking." What he means is that true happiness doesn't come from external things, whether that's money, status, or even someone's attention. It comes from within. When you let your desire for someone else's attention or love control you, you're giving your power away. Here's the thing, when you desire someone too much, it can start to feel overwhelming, not just for you, but for her too. That kind of desire creates neediness. And let's be real, no one finds neediness attractive. It's the opposite of confidence. Imagine this, you meet someone you really like, but instead of playing it cool, you let your desire take over. You're constantly texting, calling, and trying to spend every moment with her. What happens? She pulls away. Why? Because that kind of energy can be suffocating. On the other hand, when you control your desire when you're calm, collected, and secure, she's naturally drawn to you. She starts wondering why you're not chasing after her like everyone else. So, how do you control your desires? 7. Focus on the present moment. Let me ask you something. How often do you find yourself stuck in the past, thinking about how things used to be with her? Or maybe you're worried about the future, wondering if she ever come back, or if she still thinks about you? We've all been there. But Marcus Aurelius gives us some solid advice here. Focus on the present moment. He said, confine yourself to the present. This is so powerful. Often we get caught up in what was or what could be, and we forget about what is happening right now. And let's be honest, when you're constantly thinking about the past or the future, you're not really living. You're just, stuck. Now think about your relationship for a second. Have you ever ruined a good moment by overthinking it? Maybe you were on a date with her, and instead of enjoying the moment, you were too busy worrying about whether she liked you or what would happen next. It takes you out of the moment, and worse, it shows. Here's the truth. Women notice when you're not present. They can feel when you're distracted or when you're overthinking. But when you're truly in the moment, enjoying your time with her, she feels that too. It's attractive because it shows confidence, peace, and self-assurance. So, next time you're with her, or even if you're just texting, focus on the now. Don't think about what could go wrong or what went wrong before. Just be there, fully present. That's how you create real, meaningful connections. And trust me, she appreciates that. 8. Detach from outcomes. Here's something that can be a game changer. Detach from outcomes. Have you ever found yourself getting caught up in what you think should happen? Like maybe you've planned the perfect date or sent her a message, and now you're expecting a specific response. But what happens when things don't go exactly as you planned? You feel disappointed, right? Maybe even frustrated. Marcus Aurelius teaches us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. What he's saying is that we often tie our happiness to external outcomes, things we can't control. But here's the thing, you can't control how she's going to react, what she's going to say, or where the relationship is going to go. What you can control is how you show up in the moment. When you detach from outcomes, you free yourself from unnecessary stress and disappointment. You're not worried about what's going to happen. Next, because you're confident in yourself. Imagine if, instead of obsessing over whether she texts you back or how the date will end, you just enjoyed the process. Wouldn't that feel so much lighter? Reflect for a second. Have you ever felt relief after letting go of expectations? Think about how freeing that can be. 9. Be virtuous even when it's hard. Here's a tough one, but it's crucial. Be virtuous, especially when it's hard. Let me ask you, have you ever been in a situation where you felt like you were doing everything right, but things still weren't going your way? Maybe you're treating her with respect, being patient and staying calm, but she's still pulling away. Marcus Aurelius reminds us, waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. This is all about holding yourself to a higher standard, even when it's difficult. When things aren't going your way in a relationship, it can be tempting to act out of frustration or anger. Maybe you feel like sending a passive-aggressive text, or you're tempted to play games to get her attention. But here's the thing, being virtuous, being kind, and being honest are always the right moves. In the long run, these traits make you stand out. When you act with integrity, even in the face of rejection or difficulty, you show that you're not just another guy who's swayed by emotions. You show that you're grounded, composed, and strong. Reflect on a time when you kept your cool, even when things were tough. How did that feel afterward? You probably felt proud of yourself, right? That's because staying virtuous in tough times builds true confidence. 10. Accept change and move forward. Lastly, let's talk about something inevitable: change. Relationships evolve, people change, and sometimes things don't work out the way we hoped. But here's the important part: how do you handle that change? Marcus Aurelius said, "Loss is nothing else but change, and change is nature's delight." Here's the truth: resisting change, whether it's in love or life, only makes things harder. Have you ever found yourself clinging to a past version of a relationship, wishing things would go back to how they were? Maybe you're holding on to hope that she returned to being the person she was when you first met. But people grow and relationships evolve. When you accept that change is a natural part of life, you start to embrace it instead of fearing it. Think about it this way: has there ever been a time when a change in your life led to something better, even if it didn't feel like it at the moment? Sometimes, the end of one chapter means the beginning of something even more incredible. So, instead of fighting change, learn to flow with it. Trust that whatever happens, you'll be okay. And who knows? She might just come back once she sees how well you're handling everything with grace. Conclusion. So there you have it, 10 Stoic strategies from Marcus Aurelius that can help you shift the dynamic and make her miss you. Remember, it's not about manipulation or games. It's about cultivating a mindset that values patience, self-respect, and emotional intelligence. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.